For more fantastic sport and music on Switchbox TV, just subscribe free now. Just like and click the bell. Charlie McCann and John Richardson join us for another episode of The Mighty Zoomers. And there's only one place to start with the amazing rumour this morning, Charlie, that Everton are looking to sign Dan James. I thought that would bring a bit of Gibraltar cheer to you.
I honestly, I looked at that last night for the first time and thought it was looked at obviously the calendar to see there was no April Fool, and just to say I'm staggered. You know, I honestly don't, because he's only a young lad. He just can't play football. He can run. God love him. I don't know what to say. You know, we got rid of Theo, who was, you know, this guy's the poor man Theo, you know, or the poor young man's Theo. I don't want to sort of, it's just obviously not good enough. We were mentioned with other people and that during the summer, and that never came to fruition sort of. But I just hope that this isn't the case, because yeah, he's got a bit of pace, and it's possible, of course, that Carlo Ancelotti has identified that we are bereft of pace, but you know, he's not good enough to play in the Premier League, and I couldn't be bothered how old he is. You know, I've seen enough. I saw enough after, you know, 20 minutes of his. Sorry, he did make a little bit of a decent start for Manchester United, but you know, for a season now, he's been appalling. You know, and I didn't watch a great deal of the Wales games, but you know, Wales are not exactly sort of banging in the goals. He
scored an unbelievable goal.
Yeah. He
scored an unbelievable goal for Wales in the week, but hey, I was honestly, it probably, as you say, probably won't come to fruition. But I wouldn't have thought
so. But thanks for starting with that,
Rico. Yeah.
Hey,
Rico, to be fair,
look at him now. Look at him. You're not going to speak again.
No. Best not. No.
It's been Wales's week, though, hasn't it? Talk about a seriously boom for Welsh football. They qualify for the top division of the Nations League, but it is sensational news. Is the Wrexham takeover has been agreed and advised, and whatever is going to go ahead. It's not just about that, but suddenly there's world superstars looking at Wrexham that nobody's ever done before. It must be an absolutely massive boom for the economy as much as anything else.
Well, also a celebrity get me out of here, just down the road at Abigail. I mean, it's been a great week for Welsh football, because let's be fair, Wales have done very well. You know, they finished top of the group. They'll be, amongst the big boys in the Nations League, which I know both of you enjoy. Also, to be fair, Daniel James plays very well for Wales. I think it's a case of, again, we've talked about this in the past, it's feeling wanted, you know, and he's looked after there. I agree with everything Charlie says. For me, he's a very good championship player. I thought that when he was at Swansea, I thought, this lad's fast, but you do have to take the ball with you at times, you know, and I think Man United was a step too far for him. I think, I wouldn't mind him ending up at somewhere like Newcastle. I think if you look after him, he's not bad, but if you're looking to break into the top six, which Everton obviously are, I think Charlie would rather be linked with Isco than Daniel James, because Isco's been linked this week as well, isn't he? But back to your original question, yeah, Rob, it's great. It's great, especially for North Wales, the Wrexham thing. I've had Mickey Thomas on the phone every day. You know, he's excited. Joey Jones is starting to get involved. I mean, as you know, I have links with Chester FC, but I'm delighted for Wrexham, because Wrexham are doing something that Chester haven't done. You know, Chester had an offer from a millionaire a few months ago, and that they knocked it back. Oh no, we'd rather stay where we are. All this nonsense, you know, like an old farts golf club. But Wrexham are moving in the right direction, and good luck to them, because I think this will happen. This will happen. It's not a myth, and people say, oh, it's just going to be a big Netflix extravaganza. I don't think so. I think Wrexham are going to go places.
Rick, I'll just stay with you as well. I mean, you probably were focusing on the Nations League football more than perhaps Charlie and I. Well, in fairness, I watched a lot of it. I did struggle in the week. Our two friends, Jack Grealish, who we've talked up on this show, and Phil Foden were outstanding.
You know, I know you two knock international football, which is fair enough. I know where you're coming from occasionally.
I knock the friendlies. The friendlies. The meaningless game against the Republic of Ireland, not the
no. Well, the only thing is that was put Jack Grealish on the map, didn't it? Look at Jack Grealish. Look at Phil Foden. Look at
Mount did well.
Yeah, Mount and Rice. Now, those four players are going back to their clubs better players. You know, it's fantastic for the clubs. The international stage has helped mature them very quickly. So international football is very useful at times. And you try telling them that the games are meaningless. They're not, you know, and those four players are now better players because of these internationals.
No, I was watching. I mean, when Declan Rice scored, I mean, the joy, and him and Mount have grown up together. And I guess, Charlie, the one thing about international football, Richarlison, who hasn't been playing, scored, didn't he? So at least he's getting game time. The only downside is suddenly, you know, Mo Salah's away and got COVID. Chelsea are playing Newcastle at 12:30 on Saturday. Some of those players will just be getting back. I mean, we talked about it. We talked about it blew in the face, but it's just overload.
Yeah, and it seems to have been lost as well that Richarlison was the subject of an X-rated challenge by Edison Cavani, for which Cavani was sent off. Yet it doesn't seem to have made much of a ripple. Richarlison, of course, massive doubt now for Everton in the game against Fulham. But you know, international football, of course, the competitive games. If I were a club manager, I think just you know, getting those friendlies. I'm sorry, John. Stevie Wonder could have seen that Jack Grealish. You know, you're not telling me Jadon Sancho, remember, scored against the Republic of Ireland. So we can't have sort of everything. Everyone knows that Grealish was, you know, apart from Southgate, but Southgate had to because of the two competitive games. Even the game against Belgium was embarrassing, because, of course, our tactics were get the ball to this bloke who a week ago I didn't think was good enough. That was England's offense against Belgium. He was that superior to anybody else. Okay, we didn't have Rashford and Sterling, but of course the great thing is that you know, Foden's now come. I mean, Foden is not a good player already. He's bordering on a great player already. You know, if Guardiola's, you know, knows how good this is. Interesting to hear Emerick report today how he doesn't get a game in the French team as well. You in the squad is beggars belief, by the way. But waxing so lyrical about Foden, what we've got to do and what Southgate has got to do is find a way of accommodating these genuine quality players, and not you know, we've got to have, of course, at least one, whether it Declan Rice or Jordan Henderson. But I really do want Phil Foden to play alongside, and of course Grealish, Kane, obviously Sterling, and whether maybe even Marcus Rashford. And let's have a go. We're playing at home in 2021, all the games at Wembley. No, let's take it to them with the best footballers we've got.
No, I agree entirely with that, Charlie. I mean, I would change things. I don't like this three central. You know, I don't like the three central defenders. Let's lose one of them, and let's get a more creative player involved in a 4-3-3. Then it'll work. We won't win anything with you know, three central defenders, especially the three we've got at the moment. I think probably the best central defender, Cody's not even in the side. But there we go. That's a different question. But I don't like this five at the back. You know, okay, we've got the wing backs, which Gareth Southgate loves, but let's get a more creative player in, and I agree with Charlie. But to do that, you just take one of the central defenders out.
At the same time, you could take two central defenders out, but the array of attacking talent that's got to be his problem. When you think that there was no Sterling, there was no Rashford, and Grealish he has to play, Foden has to. I mean, that's going to be his problem. Is squeezing them all in, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, obviously there's injuries which will happen, and lots of, I mean, for me, Rashford doesn't get in that side. Sterling does, but I'd rather have a Grealish and Foden in. I think Rashford is good to off the bench, but for me, I think I just love the link up in play with those four that we mentioned earlier. Yeah, I know it was Iceland and it wasn't Belgium, etc., or France, but these lads can learn, and they've come up together. Rice and Mount are great, mates. They've been mates since they were 8. I just think it's fantastic that there seems this sort of togetherness. And it all goes well for the future.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the Premier League. Pep signed a 2-year deal. That means Messi's definitely coming in January. And what a game! This is it's not the game of the season, but it's one of them. Is Spurs against Manchester City. Bearing in mind, players will be tired, players will be returning, some will be injured, etc. Rico, what will this tell us? Or will this give us a few pointers to the outcome of the Premier League this season?
Well, it will help, won't it? It's a big test for Tottenham. We all agree that offensively that they're great to watch, good going forward. This is a big test for them against a Manchester City side which isn't firing on all cylinders, but can still do a job on you. A little bit surprised that Pep has signed this new contract, to be honest. I thought that was going to run and run, but City are happy with him. Still hasn't won the Champions League, of course, and this is his 5th attempt. Other managers have been sacked for that, but Pope Pep is there. And he continues to sort of lure in my colleagues, and fantastic Pep. But there you go. Stuck with him for another 2 years.
Charlie, they're saying, you'll know better than me, 11-8 favourites, Manchester City, for the Premier League. Is that right?
Yes, they are, yeah. I would still have Liverpool as favourites. Liverpool should be favourites, but of course the extent of their injuries, and they are just getting over the line with those last 2 home games. Take the Manchester City game. But because of that, their injuries and Manchester City slowly getting back to actually 2 clean sheets on this. I think no, of course they conceded against Liverpool and were arguably fortunate, but they deserve to be favourite. If only I back Liverpool. I make no apologies. I think on a normal season, but this is not a normal season with the amount of injuries. Although let's get it right, Leicester City, who play Liverpool on Sunday evening, they've got more than their share. Fofana now looks as if he's going to miss the game. Now that is very significant. I think it's fair to say the 3 of us have been very impressed with him. And at this moment in time, they've only got 4 confirmed defenders, including a young lad for that game. But again, it's what's happening in Anfield. It's possible, of course, that Fabinho and Thiago Alcantara will be back as well for Liverpool. So it's not us, but of course, Joe Gomez now, Virgil we know about, and obviously now Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. So 3 of their first choice back 4 will definitely not play. But that Henderson, of course, might, and he's a doubt as well. Henderson, I think he'll play them.
Most got COVID as well. I mean, it's the walking wounded, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But of course, you could argue that Diego Jota organised that. Of course, does he? Of course, play again with 4, and Shaqiri just comes in to replace. And of course, the others, I probably think he'll go with the 3 and Salah to be replaced by Diego Jota rather than Shaqiri. But Klopp that was such a brave move at the Etihad, and who's to say he won't do it again on Sunday evening?
Who do you fancy, Charlie, in the Spurs Man City game?
City. Spurs were very fortunate against West Brom. They've been fortunate in a number of games. The one game they weren't fortunate was the first game of the season against Everton, but they didn't turn them. But they've had I like Gabriel Gabriel Jesus. I know you and John aren't fans of it. I think he's got 11 goals in his last 11 games.
No, I like it.
We've got to talk about Sergio Aguero in the past tense now. When he's fit now, he's not good. Gabriel Jesus must be first choice for Manchester City going forward. You can't build a team around Aguero because he's so injury prone these days and has been for. I think Pep will. That's one of the things he's got to identify. He's got to get somebody in, a striker alongside. Maybe not saying alongside as in to play two centrals, but to support Gabriel Jesus with the weight of games, but to try and get some money for Sergio Aguero because he is. He's not the force of gold, A, and B, of course, he's getting more and more injury prone. But still City for me, as long as Sterling, I think Sterling is fit as well, I would suggest he will be, despite pulling out of the England setup.
I think, boys, they have got a ready-made replacement for Aguero with Torres. I think, did you see Torres in midweek against Germany? Absolutely fantastic. Scored a hat-trick.
Yeah. Sorry, John. You're right.
I've seen him live. Okay, he's not the finished article yet, Charlie, but he's growing in stature. He's getting confident. He's a good lad. He mixes well, evidently. He wants to learn. I think he could be a sensation in a few months' time if he continues to improve the way he is. And he's certainly played well for Spain in midweek.
Sorry, John, you're absolutely...
Rico, you were having a bit of a... Sorry, Charlie.
No, I was just thinking Torres was more... I've never, when he played central, it was that sort of, the false number 9. And I thought of him more as replacing maybe, playing on the right. But you are absolutely right. Maybe they have in Ferran Torres, the natural. What I was sort of getting at is one of the things is that Sergio Aguero cannot be considered by, he's an automatic choice. No way. Absolutely no way anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Rico, you were having a bit of a dig at my hair before.
Was that?
But Joachim Löw, you had a bit of a dig at his hair, didn't you, in the week? because that hair, is it's just a law unto its own, isn't it?
Well, I just tweeted, as you know, that this defeat might make his hair go grey, but after at second thoughts, maybe not. But we've all been there. I mean,
to be fair, listen.
I can't believe how he's
sorry,
Rob. I can't believe how he's kept his job, to be honest. I mean, you get hammered 6-0, and as you know, the last tournament was a disaster, and he's still there. Maybe he's keeping the German chemists going in, or whatever. Anyway,
head and shoulders. Yeah. Listen, Rico, is it likely? They're saying in the papers that Messi will come to Manchester City in January. Are you having that?
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. I can't see him ever leaving Arsenal. Can't ever see him leaving Barcelona. Every time there's a hue and cry. Okay, it's not great, but they're going to have a new president there next year. Everything will be smoothed over. He loves living there. Why is he going to move to Manchester City? Okay, there's one reason. He could link up with Pep. But basically, I can't see him ever leaving Barcelona. He certainly won't leave in January. There's absolutely no chance of that. I mean, maybe it's different next summer, but I can see him staying at Barcelona to the end of his playing days, to be honest.
Charlie?
I don't really care, if I was being perfectly... I think that ship sailed, if I was being perfectly honest. I thought there was a possibility. It was scuppered. I thought if Manchester City really wanted their man, they'd have got him in the summer. What's changed? Now he then went back and said he was happy at Barcelona. No, he will not. He had his opportunity, I think, and I think Manchester City, although they flirted with the idea, I think they've thought this is not the maybe even. And he's still a fantastic footballer and would be a wonderful addition to the Premier League. But no, I think I don't see him not only not coming over in January, but I don't think he will in the summer. And after 2021, I think that would be put to bed as well.
Rico, will Wayne Rooney make a good football manager?
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, he's enthusiastic enough. I like the lad alongside Hirosina. I think very intelligent lad. You know, comes over well, doesn't he, as a TV pundit when he's been on Sky Sports. Looks decent. People say he's a good coach. I think maybe the combination of the two of them could work, but who knows? I mean, we just won't know, will we? I mean, it's shocking to see Derby County where they are. I mean, you know, when you look at the Championship, you always think, oh, Derby, they'll be up there. You know, they'll be because as you know, both know they're a huge club. Philip Cocu didn't work, simple as that. Don't forget Wayne Rooney was part of that, so he has to take part of that. He was helping on the coaching side, but let's see. I don't know. He could be very lucky to get the job, although I mean Frank Lampard was taken in there, but it's new owners, of course. So we'll see. Be very interesting, but I like Hirosina. I think he will become a very good coach.
Charlie, what about you with Wayne Rooney? The one thing that strikes me about Wayne Rooney, I know it sounds a bit weird, he actually loves football. He looks like he actually is really interested in it. I know footballers are interested in it, but do you know what I mean? He almost like a student of the game.
Yeah. But whether he has the ability to communicate and whether he would be tanked, I mean, I would just mirror what John said. Who knows? It's sort of exciting to me. When he came back, it was almost a bit of a PR stunt when he arrived through the sponsors at Derby County. And as you say, he's supposed to have had, you know, it's one of those things almost like when Glenn Hoddle was manager of England, you know, and you're the best player is the manager and the coach and things like that. And whether he'd be frustrated trying to get his, you know, I know when he came back to Everton, for example, that I think he was frustrated with the quality, having been at Manchester United all those years. When he came back, I know he thought Idrissa Gana Gueye was a very good player, and maybe the rest of them weren't up to this quality of in training that he was used to with the Skulls, whatever, the gigs, etc. Or working with them day in and out. He's got to put that there's not going to be any other Wayne Rooneys at Derby County, certainly not in the short term. But it is fascinating, and who knows? You know, I'm certainly, it's not for us to sit here and say we know he will not. But you know, good luck to him. Good luck to him. You know, it's as you say, he loves football, and that obviously does help.
Charlie makes a very good point there. It's, you know, whether a great footballer can reproduce as a coach or manager. Remember talking to Chris Waddle about that many moons ago. He took on Burnley, and it failed because he thought everybody should be as good as him. And they obviously weren't, and he got frustrated, and he couldn't sort of align himself to that standard. It was the same with Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer will say the same. You know, he went into Newcastle to try and rescue them, and it's okay. Oh, at first, this is Alan Shearer. What a fantastic bloke we've got in charge. But after 5 or 6 games, if you don't, you know, do it as a coach, well, you're no different to Joe Bloggs, you know. So, yeah, a very good point. And we don't know about Wayne Rooney. We just don't know.
Rico, what have you got for Sunday?
Well, I've written this week, and this is football, about Lewis Hamilton and Adele.
There's your headline, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday Mirror.
Wow.
I'll give you a little clue. It's all to do with the FA Cup non-league football. Brackley Town are in the second round. That's the headquarters of Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. And Adele, one of Adele's songs was belted out in the dressing room of Chorley's dressing room after they beat Wigan. So I've been on that case this week. That's what I've been reduced to.
Right.
And that's why they pay him the big bucks, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they pay him the big. Charlie, have you got what's your fancy, either horse racing or football wise? Give us one for the weekend.
I think Lost in Translation will win the Betfair Chase. It's the first Grade 1 race, jump race in Britain in 2000 of the current season, and Lost in Translation won the race 12 months ago, and I think 11 to 8 is. I think I'd be disappointed if he doesn't follow up. One quick thing, lads. I know we've got to. Can somebody sort of try and explain to me why Rugby Union got 130 million? And no, I'm serious. Honestly, I'm not.
Oh, no, I'm the same, Charlie. I'm the same.
I'm just trying to get my head around it.
I couldn't believe it.
I honestly, nobody's
explain it to people like me. Pass me by. Go on.
Well, I want to know. No, sorry, I'm asking. I have no idea. I haven't got a jar of clue.
Charlie, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. When I looked at the breakdown, I thought this was a mistake. I thought one had been inserted ahead of the 30 or something. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
is there any logic to it at all? I can't see.
Well, you got the MP on the television last night saying, "Oh yeah, well, rugby union's the hub of all these places." Blah blah blah. Is it? News to me. It might be in places like Bath, but generally,
yeah, of course, yeah. I don't want to sort of
football rules, isn't it? Football and cricket, basically.
Both of cricket got 0. The whole thing. It sort of passed me by during the day, and then I did have a read last night, and I thought, oh, I haven't got time to find out, and I thought, well, I'll ask Rob, or because the must.
No, this is completely. This has passed me by. This explain. I was saying to explain. I don't know anything about this. Go on.
No, this is the government funding they've come up with. I think is it 300 million of which to elite sports, of which rugby union got 130 million, which I think in the football league got
40. Football got
20 million. I'm so sorry. Racing got 40 million, and it got 20 million. And I can't get my head round.
Yeah.
Grassroots sort of football, and you'd almost have to say, is it, dare I say, for rugby union, that is very much a north-south divide. I just would like it to be explained to me why, because there's quite a gap between 130 and 100 and 130 and 20. I don't know what rugby league got. Maybe they got a cup of tea or something like that. I really
nothing for cricket.
Nothing for cricket. I found it quite strange, I must say. And but because of what's going on, and the fact that there is, and these are loans, of course. Well, I really did hope that somebody would be able to explain to me.
Yeah, no, fascinating, interesting.
Well, the only thing is, when you look at the people who make these decisions, are you that surprised? I mean,
no, but you
they haven't got their ear to the ground, have they, Charlie?
No, you don't want to sort of talk in terms of sort of, the people who are running the government are, dare I say it, sort of middle class and upper middle class, and put the two together. But straight away that hit me.
Well, I would, Charlie. I'll definitely say that.
Well, that's why I was hoping that one of.
No, I can't help it. But it's absolutely.
Explain the sort of logic to me. But anyway,
Hey, listen.
We'll
dwell on that and come up with answers for next week. But fellas, what can I say apart from, as usual, thanks very much, Charlie. Take care of yourself. Rico, take care. Thanks a lot, fellas.